we first say thank you and welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, we appreciate it. I think more than anything else, Jaguar fans are salivating over the idea of a little more intel. So if we could just start with Jourdan Lewis, who I think, based on what we've seen from the Dallas community, they love what this guy represented on the football field.
Yeah, we call him J. Lou. I used to call him Pitbull because he's gonna sit in there and fight all day long. He's a tough competitor. He's not real big physically, size-wise, but he thinks he's bigger than anybody. And I'd tell him, trying to get him out of the run fit, and he'd tell me, "No, I want to be in there with the big guys." So he's a good ball skills. He's got good range, very smart, and very tough. And he typically will not miss games.
As Mrs. Camps, has he diminished at all in skill over? Well, of course, you were there for 1 year, but do you still feel he's on the rise?
Yeah, Camps. I think. First of all, it's good to talk to you again, but I think, he loves to compete, and he's a savvy veteran that, he's going to put his arm on, going to take his arm and, hook the waist of the slot receiver sometimes if he has to. He thinks he's way bigger and way faster than he is. So I think you're going to get a really good player. I know Dallas really wanted to keep him, he can do a lot of things for you. He went out, we had a bunch of corners for him last year. He went out and played on the outside some, but he's probably a better inside player.
Now, Coach, does he have the skill set and whereabouts to where he could play outside as well?
Well, he has the smarts. He's probably not a true outside guy, but if you need him out there in a pinch, and he's not afraid of anybody. He wants to cover everybody out there. If you tell him, hey, this is the best guy, he says, let me have him. So, I have a lot of respect for him.
We're talking with Mike Zimmer. He was the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys last year, 8 years the head coach in Minnesota, so we're definitely going to get to a couple of other guys. But, based on what Leon just asked, I think more than anything else, and you understand this, Coach, a heck of a lot, is the importance of that nickel guy to take on what is becoming a really dynamic position out of the slot with a lot of these groups of wide receivers. So how important can he be to this defense?
I think he can be really important. We played – in the beginning of the year, we played a lot more base defense with some of the 21 personnel and 12, and then halfway through the year, we really started getting into the nickel subgroups, and he loved it. I mean, he loved being in there with big guys. He loved doing a good job in the running game, taking on blockers. He's really tough. He made an unbelievable interception against Tampa Bay, I believe it was, where him and I can't remember who the receiver was, but they went up in the end zone and he took it away from the guy. So, you can say this guy's a true competitor, and he's a great person in the locker room. He's not afraid to say what he thinks, and I think he's going to be a great addition for your team.
Zimmer, there's another guy that I wanted to ask you about is the tight end. I think he was there with you when you were at Minnesota. Munt, what's your thoughts about him?
No, he wasn't there. I don't.
Oh, okay. I thought
I am getting old, but I don't think I forget that easy.
I think that's what it boils down to is I think Jaguar fans right now, Coach, are looking for guys that can ascend and be starters wherever they're coming from.
Yeah, and they've had I know they struggled a little bit this last year, but they had a good thing going down there, and I'm sure they'll get back going to it again.
Hey, Coach, tell me a little bit about Ndoga. What kind of kid is he?
Yeah, he wasn't with us either, but so I can't give you all the good scoop.
I thought he was with Dallas.
What's his name?
Chuma
Edoga.
No, he wasn't with. You're talking about
offensive guy, offensive tackle.
Oh, Chuma.
Yeah,
Chuma.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hey,
you're thinking defense, brother.
I spent a lot of time with the defensive guys. Yeah. No, they really liked him. He's a big physical guy. He was hurt at the beginning of the season, and then came back and did well. So I know that all the offensive guys really liked him and thought thought that he was a good player, and they wish they would have had him earlier.
Yeah, he's like 6'3", 310, comes out of Southern Cal, a guy that hopefully they're hoping, Coach, will be able to contribute and compete for the offensive line position. So as we visit with you a couple more minutes, Mike Zimmer, defensive coordinator last year for the Cowboys, 8 years the head coach for the Minnesota Vikings. The unbelievable collection of coaches here, Mike, they're very young. And we're talking about a brand-new general manager, a brand-new head coach, OC, DC, all in their first position at that level. How hard or how much work do they have ahead of them to make this work?
Well, I've always said this, and Camps will probably agree with me. There's no guarantee on the head coach as far as, it's really on-the-job training. You learn a lot of different things that you weren't doing in your previous job. I will say this, Liam Cohn, we played against him in Tampa, and you go through all the tapes and you think, man, this guy can really call a game. So, that part of it, I think he'll end up doing a good job. As far as the rest of the staff and everything, they're going to have to get with it quick. They got a lot of young guys, but that's kind of what the league is going to now.
Yeah, and I kind of look at it as when we came into the league, Mike, back in the day, it was the same thing. We were a really young group on the coaching staff, and a lot of it was, I know you and a bunch of the guys were really good teachers, and we're hoping that that's the case. Let me ask you one more question on Lewis. Can he play man?
Yeah, he loves to play man-to-man. He's a good zone player, but he loves to play man-to-man. I think, honestly, Dave, I think he can do really anything he wants. He's got the heart of a lion, and he's a good, smart, tough football player that the fans are really going to love him, honestly.
All right, Leon, let's finish with Camps on Zim and Zim on Camps. So you can go with me on this one, because these are two good old school coaches right here. Mm-hmm. So Zim, as I'm calling you right now, because I heard Coach say it, give us a quick story on Camps, and then Camps, you got to give us a quick story on Zim.
Man, there's so many of them. Should I tell them about the one? Should I tell them about the time when you were singing when we were really young, when you're doing a singing? What was it? In one of the establishments down there, and he came. They announced him. This was in Utah. He announced him, and he came in, and we all got up and left. I'll tell you this: I learned so much football from Dave Campo, and I've sat in his meetings for a couple of years anyway, and. He was a tremendous teacher. He was unbelievable on the board. I've never seen anybody as good as him on the board, and he had a great relationship with the players as well.
Now, my story on Zim is the reason I liked him the most was because he was a pain in the neck in every meeting, and yet I knew that whatever we finished with, that's what was going to go on the field.
Yeah.
And there's no question. And we were very fortunate to get him. Coach Switzer, giving him the opportunity to come to Dallas was a big deal. And it obviously his career took off. And there's no question about it.
Wait a minute. Both of y'all were on the staff when y'all beat us in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, heck yeah.
Of course.
That was hey, listen, I got to finish with that.
Yeah.
That's the best one. That's the best one, because there's about a minute and something left in the game, and I'm in the press box, and Zim's on the field. And I wanted to get in on the celebration because the game was over.
Yeah.
Well, this is why Zim is who he is. The game was not over until it went 0-0.
Yeah.
And he cussed me out and said, "You better stay in the press box. There's still a game going on." So I missed all the excitement, but we won. That's the key.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to call you some such and suches right now. But
that was some good times. There were some good times for sure.
Well, hopefully we can visit again, because the one thing that's kind of eating at me, Coach Camps has brought this up to me before, is instruction. and the time that you get with the player in today's NFL. So maybe we can hopefully catch up with you a little bit later on, and we'll do that again. But listen, we really appreciate – I know Jaguar fans appreciate you giving them a little bit of an idea of what these guys bring to the table as free agents.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.